Welcome to Short Orders by RHI Solutions. I'm Jeremy. Call it what you will, Cubelet, Sonic, Nugget, or Pearl. There's a soft, almost airy, chewable ice that's fast becoming, if not a household name, then certainly one of the service industry's most popular forms of frozen water. So much so that very recently the world's largest coffee house chain, I'll let you make an assumption as to who that is, announced that it will start rolling out new machines to supply it in all of its cold beverages. Standard cubes will now be replaced with this softer, more compressed ice. The same pellet-shaped ice you can find in many hospitals, and in some other chain restaurants. Specifically, one whose name sounds like that of a popular Sega Genesis character. Sega! Now that a mermaid and a hedgehog have both converted full-time to this style, it can be presumed that many other establishments will follow suit, boosting its popularity further. So what is it about Nugget, Cubelet, Pearl, or whatever you'd like to call it, that's just so darn great? What's its primary purpose? And who makes it the best? These are all great questions, each deserving of an answer that we hope to supply you with. As you know, at least as I hope you know, pure ice contains just one ingredient: water. Which, yes, for all you nerds out there, contain two ingredients. But answer me this, Alton Brown. Are molecules considered ingredients?
Well, you know what I've got to say to that?
Anyway, how can something so simple be transformed into something so delicious? The answer lies in science. And engineering. In this case, mostly engineering. You see, instead of simply freezing water into solid cubes, Nugget machines rely on an auger system that form tiny flakes of ice. Once created, the flakes are collected and compacted into small nuggets or pearls. The process looks something like this. First, filtered water is run through a metal cylinder with an auger right in the middle of it. As the water fills the cylinder, the refrigeration system begins to cool the walls. Ice crystals then begin to form on the walls of the cylinder. At this stage, the auger rotates, scraping the walls of the cylinder and forcing the ice up until it reaches a storage compartment. The storage compartment is filled with the flaked ice that comes from the cylinder. The ice flakes are pushed through a small tube that compresses the ice into a single piece. At the end of the tube, the ice either breaks off naturally into smaller pieces or is trimmed by a blade. Since each piece is composed of minuscule, snow-like flakes, this results in air pockets in the ice nuggets that are responsible for the light, chewy texture, and a high surface area to volume ratio, which makes it ideal for cooling beverages quickly. So that's essentially the roadmap for making Pearl Ice, but what will you find once you get there? Well, Denver, Colorado's Ice-O-Matic calls it the People's Ice, which makes me wonder if Dwayne Johnson has any thoughts on this matter.
The Rock says, it doesn't matter what you think!
A few places Pearl Ice really shines are in fountain drinks and smoothies, as it can blend quickly and it displaces liquid better than classic cubes, while also lasting longer than standard ice, so your drinks won't be watered down immediately on hot days. Because of that, it's also great as cooler ice, as not only will the ice stay frozen longer, but its smaller size, with smooth, rounded edges, will leave far more room for you to pack a few extra soon-to-be cold ones into your cooler with you.
Because let me tell you, a one that is not cold is scarcely a one at all.
Beyond that, the ice actually absorbs the flavor of a beverage, making it even more enjoyable for chewing. With an aside here, you shouldn't chew on ice, pellet or otherwise, that you pulled out of a dirty cooler on day 3 of Bonnaroo. Even if your Pearl Ice is still intact, I mean, that's just nasty. Your gross friends have been sticking their unwashed hands in there all weekend. Also, loose hot dogs. Gross. And while the Modern Music Festival began in earnest sometime in the early 1960s, so too did pellet ice. And much like the beloved Bacchanalian Weekend, it didn't actually take hold in mainstream society until the late 90s with Horde, Lollapalooza, Lilith Fair, and Ozfest seeing record crowds each season. And now here, in the aught-20s, with world-renowned festivals such as Summer Camp, Coachella, and Tomorrowland, drawing sellout crowds and record profits. Sorry, we're actually talking about ice, aren't we? This was supposed to be an analogy. Well, also in the late 90s, more efficient and reliable approaches to making Pearl Ice arose, as the engineering of modern machines came online. And, now in the aught-20s, this style of ice is perhaps the most approachable and in demand of any on the market. Is it a coincidence that these two societal crazes have such concurrent timelines? Yes, it's probably exactly just a coincidence. Which leads us into who we think makes the best nugget ice on the market. Smooth Segue. Smooth Segue is not the name of the company, by the way. Isomatic, a company that's been manufacturing ice machines in Denver since 1952 and is well known for introducing Aegeon, an antimicrobial compound in their machines, which allow vendors to serve pristine ice day in and day out, regardless of usage rates. Needless to say, innovative engineering is built into their DNA, so it should come as no surprise that they've perfected the craft of making pearl ice. With modular, undercounter, or even ice and water dispensing combos, they've got a machine style to fit every application. Who knows, it might even change your life. It certainly wouldn't be the first time a pearl dispenser did. I know that sounds like hyperbole, but a fun case study from 2014 would prove otherwise. And full disclosure here, this info was supplied by Isomatic. So we did independently verify, and then we turned it into a 1920s style radio play. For your consideration and enjoyment, we bring you Frozen Desires. A quest for cool. The curtain rises on a busy school office. Documents are being processed. Files are sorted. Children of several ages speak with their teachers and support staff. And near a window overlooking campus, Mark Ashton takes a phone call. Yes, I understand. The children will be horribly disappointed, but if there's nothing we can do, well then there's just nothing we can do. Damn these icemen!
Mr. Ashton, you're upset, sir.
Oh, Carol, when I first began my post as the Chief Executive Officer right here at the Foundation for Blind Children, my sole ambition was providing these youth and this staff of dedicated professionals the tools and support they'll need to live fulfilling, productive lives.
But, sir, we've been a well-respected leader for over a century.
And yet, Carol, I am unable to fulfill this intention in the most basic of ways.
We do wonderful work with families, communities, and students.
Yes, but what of refreshments? Do our students and staff not need the coolest, most nourishing drinks in order to succeed? And it is just so damn warm here in Phoenix. But alas, an ice machine is simply a luxury the Foundation cannot afford. And with that admission of resignation comes a knock upon the door. Come in.
Mr. Ashton?
Yes, Billy.
Did you call the Icemen, sir? Will we have cold drinks this summer?
I'm sorry, Billy, but warm juice is all you'll be getting.
But what about Isomatic, sir?
Isomatic, come now. What is this you speak?
They have vending machines, sir, for all budgets and needs, including pearl ice, a dispenser that can dispense both chewable nugget and water.
You don't say. Well, I'll call them right now. Little Billy, you are a genius. And with that one simple conversation, young William set in motion a chain of events that would ripple through history. With the installation of an Isomatic GEMD 270 Nugget and ice water dispenser, students and staff at Phoenix's Foundation for Blind Children were able to utilize a cost-effective ice system that could meet all of their needs. Our final scene opens on a warm, sunny day in the school courtyard. Children run free as teachers and staff talk amongst themselves. You see, Cal, thanks to Isomatic, our staff and students are encouraged to minimize trash and plastic waste by relying on reusable water bottles.
And it's been wonderful not having to spend time and money driving to convenience stores to purchase bagged ice.
Yes, indeed. These savings mean more quality time to spend with students, like you, little Billy.
Thank you, Mr. Ashton. And thanks to you, Isomatic.
And scene. We hope you enjoyed the first ever RHI Solutions Short Orders radio play. We also hope you enjoyed our content on Isomatic and Pearl Ice. We've got a great deal of programs ahead of us in the near future, so please, as always, like and subscribe to the show on your favorite streaming platforms. And again, thanks, and we'll talk to you real soon.